So just a few moments ago, Dead by Daylight tweeted out what they have coming up in their next PTB that's going to be dropping, I think, next week. So let's get into it real quick. Alright, so on the page, we have the 8.7.0 update will be here before you know it, so let's take a look at the notable gameplay changes that you can expect from next week's public test build, including improvements we recently shared as part of our Quality of Life initiative. You may notice that in this developer update, we haven't included the crunchy numbers associated with certain changes. Without the context of a PTB to dive right into, specific value changes can be difficult to contextualize in the form of a blog. Stay tuned for the PTB patch notes, where we will share the precise values that are changing. So first up, we have the new quest system. Added a quests menu to centralize all quest-related content in one place. This replaces the daily ritual, tome challenge, and event tome systems. Quests are organized into distinct groups, including daily quests, Rift Pass quests, and event quests. Quests do not need to be selected to be considered active. All available quests are eligible for completion at all times. Upon completion, players receive quest rewards automatically without needing to return to the quests menu. Added milestone quests, which reward players for completing progressively higher amounts of common in-game actions, i.e. hooking survivors. Added the ability to pin multiple quests for easy reference in the lobby and match details screen in-game. Quest notifications can be toggled on or off via the graphics options menu. Updated verbiage to use the term quest instead of ritual and challenge. Our intention behind this system is that win or lose, we want trials to feel even more rewarding for players, making in-game tasks and rewards easier to engage with. What this means for you is that you can complete multiple quests per trial. You can pin quests to easily reference them in-game, and rewards are unlocked automatically to minimize the amount of time that you spend in menus, among other things. Checking things off your to-do list should feel snappy and rewarding, and that's the feeling that we're aiming for here. We have a change to the Archives, Tome, and Rift, extended the number of levels in the Deep Rift, and increased the number of available outfit variants within it. Updated the final Rift tier following the Deep Rift to act as a repeatable source of blood points. Moved access to the archives from the lobby main menu to the bottom screen menu. All tome lore in the compendium is now unlocked for all players. All existing tome challenges can still be completed for blood points and their page completion rewards. Note, they will not use the new quest system, meaning that they must be activated one at a time and redeemed once completed. Alongside the new quest systems, we've also adjusted some of the game's other menus and features within the Rift. With the Rift, we're really excited about how quests will make progression more streamlined, and are happy to share that we're adding even more content into the Deep Rift to spice up those level ups. While the archives and compendium will remain accessible in-game, Rift progression moving forward will be handled through the quests menu, so you'll likely see less of these legacy spaces. As a fitting way to show our respect for them, previous tomes and their challenges will remain available for you to work through, and all lore is unlocked to allow you to walk down memory lane. Okay, so here we have the perks preview in lobby, and this is not as exciting as it sounds. They've added a widget highlighting a player's own perks in the pre-game lobby, and newly unlocked survivors and killers come pre-equipped with a perk in their first slot. Dev note, there's a lot of info that newer players face when opening the game, so we want to highlight the importance of perks for them. The widget uses a visual effect to allow players to know if they have unused perk slots, making it easy to jump into that menu with a single click. Pre-equipping a perk for a newly unlocked character also helps ease players into the game, ensuring they won't be at a disadvantage in their first trial if they miss the perks menu. So this is, again, as I said, not as exciting as it seems. It's not allowing you to see your teammates' perks in the lobby. It's just showing your own perks. So this is basically for the new players that are going to be onboarded when the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter comes out, because that is probably going to be the largest influx of players that they will ever receive. So a lot of these changes are to make it more user-friendly for a lot of these new players coming in. That's why a lot of these patches have had like weird changes the last couple of months, is for the onboarding of new players that are going to be following along. Pre-equipped items and add-ons. Newly unlocked survivors come pre-equipped with a small set of items and add-ons, as well as some extras in their inventory. Newly unlocked killers come pre-equipped with a small set of add-ons, as well as some extras in their inventory. Similar to the above, as we look into the future of Dead by Daylight, it's important that we reevaluate players' first steps within the game. It's not always clear that they should check a newly unlocked character's loadout before entering a trial. Giving these items and add-ons to newly unlocked characters allows us to highlight the basics of a character's kit, giving players something to use in their first couple of trials. we have the change to the unhook spam prevention. Each survivor can attempt to unhook another survivor 3 times. On the next attempt, they cannot cancel this interaction. Each survivor's individual unhook attempt count resets when a hook survivor exits the hook state. It's not lost on us that unhooking can be used by survivors to grief others. While we know there can be strategic reasons to cancel and unhook, this isn't something that should be occurring over and over. By setting a limit on this action, before it becomes uninterruptible, our goal is to ensure well-meaning players have the flexibility to change their actions on the fly, while also preventing others from using this action for griefing purposes. This, not really much of a big change. You're never really ever going to notice this. Oh my god. Okay, I did not see this before I started this video recording. Improved skill check safety net. My god, it has been so long. I was even just talking about this yesterday on stream, that it's, you know, we're currently, what, 9 years into the game's release cycle. They're never going to add this, and here it is. New, added an additional window of time in which a skill check will be nullified when letting go of an action as the skill check pops up. We've all been there. You get off a generator just a fraction too late and boom, you trigger a failed skill check. As a result of your feedback, we've added a slightly extended grace period for letting go of generators and healing actions. This should help reduce the frustration of a rogue skill check alerting the killer without being so generous that you can be careless with your actions. Yeah, this is like probably the highlight of the entire change for me. It is incredible. Everybody knows when you let go of the generator and the skill check explodes anyway. The skill check that came up after you let go and retroactively blows up the gen. Finally, that will no longer really be an issue anymore. That is massive. We have a small change for the Houndmaster. Decrease the dog chase command vault speed and increase the blood point rewards for all deviousness scoring events. Now, this one is really nothing. I don't think this change really means anything either, because to my understanding it was bugged anyway. So it's just, when vaulting, Snug feels a little fast given how his animation plays out. This can feel off and leave survivors with very little time to react. We've decreased Snug's vault speed slightly to better match his animation, while giving survivors slightly more flexibility while being chased around pallets. I thought that was a bug, so I don't know if they're fixing it or if that's actually even a change, because I just assumed it was a bug this whole time, because the animation does not match how it actually plays out when the dog vaults. Now this is another, I want to say it's a big change, but at the same time it isn't, because Haste on killer side isn't really used too much. We have the change for Haste no longer stacks with other Haste effects. So basically, if you run like Clown and also Rapid Brutality, if you were to be affected by the gas bottle, it will no longer stack if you also have Rapid Brutality. You'll cap out at only 5% faster speed. Hindered no longer stacks with other hindered effects. So, I mean, this is, well, both ways, right? Like, if you hinder a survivor or the killer hinders you, or you get hindered as the killer, which is very unlikely to happen. I think the only way you can really get hindered is, like, Champion of Light and that other perk, Chemical Trap, which you're unlikely to ever get hit with both. Hindered effects on the killer side applying to the survivor is way more common. Both will no longer be able to stack. So you can't have, say, Knockout and also hit somebody with Freddy's Snare to slow them down even more. That's going to be axed out of the game. Updated status effects widgets to display current haste and hindered values. This can be disabled in-game options. This is pretty nice. So I guess it'll tell you in-game how much you're slowing them down or being sped up in-game on like the HUD. Updated perks descriptions to change base movement speed adjustments to haste or hindered effect. Introduced small buffs to perks which previously relied on stacking. I wonder if like play with your food will be buffed from like 5 to like 7%, because that would actually make it pretty crazy. Even just that small 2%. Historically, stacking status effects like haste and hindered as well as base movement speed changes has led to circumstances where certain perk combos made for this plus hope ended up far more powerful than intended. By streamlining these effects, you'll only ever move as fast or as slow as the highest haste or hindered effect currently active. Note, the highest value of these two effects will still interact with each other. Our intention is to limit instances of overtuned combos while making their effects easier to understand, especially as we welcome new players into the fog. So yeah, they even say it right here. This is for the new players coming into the game. It's a simplification of the in-game mechanics and systems just to make it easy for the onboard of new players that are going to be coming in June. And then we have a perk update, and this is only one perk update. We're going to be changing Pentimento. When a totem is rekindled, survivors' healing and repair speeds are reduced. This effect increased for each additional rekindled totem. If all 5 totems are rekindled simultaneously, all totems permanently blocked by the entity. Survivors cursed by this perk see rekindled totems auras within a small radius. Hex Pentimento no longer reduces recovery speed from being downed or gate opening speed. It's no secret that Hex Pentimento's repair speed debuff is its strongest effect in main draw. With this change, we moved away from giving the full power of this debuff at 1 totem. Instead, gradually increasing healing and repair debuffs give this effect a more gradual power curve. This preserves its focus on slowing survivor progression without being too dominant at 1 totem. As for aura reading, our goal is to help solo players who don't have the benefit of teammates to help with totem callouts. So basically, instead of like 1 Hex totem of Pentimento giving you 30% slower gens, and the second giving you 30% slower healing, and then like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, one of them is like you recover slower on the ground, you open the exit gate slower. They're removing all that and simplifying it to exclusively being repairing and healing speeds. It's only going to be those 2, but it's going to iteratively go up as you light each new totem. So I'm just estimating they're probably going to be lowering it to like 10 or 12% per totem instead of 30. So if you have 1 Pentimento totem, their healing and generator repair speed will both be reduced by probably 10 to 12% per totem. You're not going to be getting 30% anymore right out of the gate. Anyway, this was the entire developer update. Really nothing crazy here. It's mostly just in preparation of the onboard of new players that are going to be coming with the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter. Let me know what you think in the comments below about these changes. I'm kind of indifferent to the haste and hinder changes. Personally, they did say they're going to be buffing the value of a lot of those perks to make up for the fact that they no longer stack. So we'll have to see how that works out and what becomes good. Because like I said, if Play With Your Food gets buffed to like, 7% a stack, you get 21 on 3 stacks percent movement speed. That would be pretty crazy. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. Like I said, let me know what you think about these changes in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.